In The Tyranny of Nabonidus, a 5th century BC work, we see anger toward the squatter man, assigning blame to an impostor who worshipped the figure. The apparent anger of the Taurus field made the people question godly authority. They called him an impostor and accused him of misguidance. They thought the bad judgment resulted in indiscriminate anger. People were beginning to think actions on the earth were affecting the judgment of the squatter man. Wait till you hear this. Places of Hindu worship were built to idolize the fluctuating plasmatic squatter man. Zoroastrians, too, personified and worshipped the same ancient Taurus field. These early religions assimilated experiences into ideas that are found in Egypt, Iraq, China, Scandinavia, and even in the tribes of Africa, Australia, and the Americas. Voodoo, Dogon, Aboriginal, and Native American traditions all speak of old sky events unlike any we experience today. They worshipped a figure that appeared to them, and the documentation is evident from the most primitive petroglyphs to the imagery of the ancient mystery religions, and even right up to the digital code of this video. We are a species with amnesia, brainwashed for control, and it is time for all of us to begin to wake up. In 100 BC, in the Aeneid, the Roman poet Virgil speaks of the rites of the gods and the mysteries of Bacchus, god of the night. By recognizing the identifying markers of the squatter man in the ancient imagery, we can see that Bacchus is a regional name for the squatter man. Here he is called god of the night, because we believe that during the night, the plasmatic display of the squatter man would have been that much more brilliant. So too we find many references of the ancient mother goddess to be the goddess of the night. Virgil also states, Mars was able to destroy the Lapith's monstrous race. This statement takes on a profound meaning when we realize he is referring to the squatter man. Mars, aka Ares, the god of war, indeed is presented originally displaying the identifying markers of the squatter man, either holding the two or being flanked by the two, whatever those two might be, and treading on the beast. Virgil also says, the father of the gods himself yielded to Diana's rage. The goddess Diana also bears the identifying markers of the squatter man, and her rage is paralleled in the Hindu tales of the destructive dance of Shiva the Destroyer. Based on the totality of evidence from ancient texts, petroglyph records, and confirmations from modern plasma physicists, we can't help but conclude that our solar system experienced dramatic and traumatic changes still embedded in our so-called blood memory. Glimpses seen even in the old Chicken Little story where the sky is falling. The ancient archetype of the assembly of the gods is a key to these mysteries, and it seems that the emanations of the assembly of the planet gods goes through a process that was of course held sacred. A pillar, a triangle, even said to have once been shaped as an hourglass. And of course, the squatter man and the ladder. The Egyptian obelisks appear to be a representation of that sacred pillar, and an analysis of Egyptian jed pillars will give insight into the morphology of these ancient emanations. By searching for the identifying markers in ancient imagery, it is becoming apparent that names of planets were originally names for the squatter man. For example, the planet we know as Venus today was not always called Venus. The Greeks and Romans called that planet Hesperus and Phosphorus. Ultimately, they chose to change the name to Venus, the old mother goddess. Can you imagine the ancients relaxing on their rooftops in the evenings and marveling at the mother goddess, Venus, the squatter man? It's remarkable to compare the imagery of Quetzalcoatl, Medusa, Pluto, Cupid, and Yaldabaoth and see the undeniable similarities. The farther back we peer, the more accuracy we see, but as the imagery crosses generations, the meanings are forgotten. This shield here and variations of it are a memory of the assembly of the gods and the cosmic mountain, a projector of sorts which would ultimately manifest the squatter man. The cosmic mountain was the connection between heaven and earth that is now lost. The Norse rainbow bridge that connected Midgard to Asgard, and its trembling was a sign of Ragnarok, the end of the world of gods. A thunderclap is globally thought of as the anger of the gods. It's a trauma. The lightning in the sky, a trauma from when these events were overwhelming to the observer. It affected our thinking and destroyed the world we once knew. The ones that survived would believe they were God's chosen people. Religions formed and assimilated over time as empires emerged and collapsed, but we still intuitively remember the trauma inflicted on the soul of humanity. Using the template of the identifying markers, we can understand the origins of the mysterious Roman religion of Mithraism. The central figure flanked by the two, under the assembly and treading on the beast. We can understand the degraded imagery of the menorah with the two birds or the two dots, the squatter man under the winged disc of the assembly, flanked by the two, and thousands of other examples highlighted on our channels, such as the Durga goddess treading on the beast, as well as the goddess Asherah, the so-called wife of God. Our motivation is the search for truth and giving it freely to help whoever it may. There are many ancient mysteries that remain, but as to that goddess of the night, they saw it in the sky.